This illustration deals with reconditioned switchgear in accordance with 490.49. The purpose of the change was to accept a new section. And this new section has been added to clarify that switchgear can be reconditioned, and typically that work is done in place due to the inherent construction difficulties and expense in removing and installing maybe, say, a new one. In such cases, the best approach is assuring safety before restoring to service. Will involve the field evaluation. Now we can find that, in 110.3A, B, and C of the code. You can also find it in OSHA 1910.308A. So kind of keep that in mind for a field evaluation. It's a nurdle they put on it. The current status of listing coverage or medium voltage work, and includes that field labeling is a variable approach at this time for medium voltage gear, such as this that is not being completely reinstalled. In addition, the wording allows for section by section decisions related to how to proceed. In some cases, an accident may damage a section, but not warrant condemning an entire lineup of equipment. Now, notice this, it specifies this in 110.10 of the NEC. The text also includes provisions on parts selection and recondition procedures from the NEMA reconditioning paper written for such conditions. These provisions are actual requirements that appear under its definition subhead. They must be located here and not in the actual definition, so we understand what this new section is really all about. Now, the first thing I'd like to review is the metal enclosed switchgear, right to the left. No, this person's racking out the system. Of course, they need the equipment from NFPA 70E, that will protect them from electrical arc condition. We know we would find that in 130.7C15 and Article 100 of 70E. But notice the metal enclosed gears defined in Article 100. It's addressed in more detail in 490.47. 490.48B is in boy 5, and 490.48C goes into instructions on racking it out, etc., and procedures that you would have there. Now, lastly here, I'd like to review the notes. Note 1, right-hand side at the top. High voltage switchgear may be reconditioned as permitted in 490.49. Note 2, design qualified parts shall be used as required in 490.49 with the applicable standards that regulate each one of these parts or components. Note 3, reconditioning switchgear shall be listed or field labeled as outlined in 490.49. Note 4, if switchgear has been damaged by fire, products, combustion, or water, qualified testing by a laboratory prior to being placed into service should be required and looked at by 490.49. Note 5, gear has been damaged in some manner as outlined in 490.49. And in course, note 6 is a retrofit trip units that are retrofitted and can be used are now required as outlined in 490.21A5 that would, deal with fuses, circuit breakers, and so forth, if you're looking at A or B, to be listed for such use. So in other words, we just couldn't go pick up a retrofit kit and use it if it wasn't listed for such use. Now, the old markings and labeling would be removed, and you would put the new one on if you recondition it. So this kind of gives you a good summary of this new section and what is required when you're dealing with reconditioned switchgear in accordance with 490.49.